Imagine a battlefield so massive the earth itself shook. A place where over 6,000 tanks clashed in one single inferno. Metal grinding metal, sky raining fire, men screaming through smoke. This wasn't just another fight. This was Kursk, 1943, the day the world's biggest tank war flipped World War II on its head. You got Hitler on one side, pissed off, humiliated after getting wrecked at Stalingrad. He's desperate, losing his cool, telling his generals, "We hit him hard this time, we finished the job." And on the other side, Stalin, cold as ice, playing chess with millions of lives, waiting for Hitler to blink first. Yeah, this wasn't just war. This was revenge written in blood and steel. By mid-43, Germany was in trouble. Hitler's dream of blitzkrieg domination had turned into a nightmare. He'd lost hundreds of thousands of men in Russia's frozen hell. But the man couldn't admit defeat, not his style. So he cooked up something big, Operation Citadel, a plan to crush the Soviet bulge around Kursk in one huge pincer attack. He brought out his heavy hitters, the brand new Tiger Y and Panther tanks, beasts made to terrify anything that moved. Over 500,000 men, thousands of tanks, and Hitler's top SS divisions, locked and loaded. He wanted Kursk wiped off the map. Fast, brutal, final. But what he didn't know? Stalin already saw it coming. Because Stalin had something Hitler didn't: spies. The Soviets had cracked the German code. They knew every single attack plan before it even left Berlin. So while Hitler was flexing, Stalin was digging. The Soviets built 8 defensive belts, miles of trenches, millions of mines, anti-tank ditches, artillery dug into the earth like the claws of a metal beast. The Red Army didn't just plan to survive, they planned to bleed Germany dry. July 12th, 1943, Prokhorovka. If hell had an address, it'd be here. More than 1,000 tanks jammed into a battlefield no bigger than a small town. Engines roaring, treads grinding, the air shaking with metal fury. 2 of the biggest tank forces in history collided head-on, turning the steppe into a furnace of fire and steel. The Germans brought Tigers and Panthers, high-tech monsters, thick armor, long guns. The Soviets answered with pure numbers, T-34s swarming like angry hornets. It wasn't long-range shooting anymore. Tanks rammed each other, firing point blank, and the ground shook with every collision. Chaos ruled. Back in Berlin, Hitler's frustration boiled over. His invincible armored divisions were crumbling. Reports poured in. Panthers destroyed, Tigers immobilized, SS units cut off. The man who wanted to conquer the East now watched it consume him. His last gamble, Operation Citadel, was failing in real time. The battlefield was a graveyard of metal, hundreds of tanks, burning, shattered, abandoned. Thousands of soldiers, dead, wounded, or trapped. And yet the Soviets didn't stop. They pushed forward, T-34s clawing their way through fire and smoke, proving numbers, courage, and cunning could crush even the most fearsome machines. Seeing this, Stalin seized the moment. Operation Kutuzov, the Soviet counterattack, was unleashed. Artillery ripped the German lines apart, waves of tanks advanced, and air support pounded enemy positions. The Red Army wasn't just defending anymore, they were hunting. Every inch they took was revenge, every victory a message. Kursk would be Germany's grave. The tide had turned. The Germans were retreating, scrambling to hold ground they should have lost. Kursk wasn't just a battle anymore, it was the beginning of the end for Hitler's eastern ambitions. Smoke and fire stretched across the steppe, and the Red Army pressed relentlessly, unstoppable, exacting revenge for Stalingrad and the blood spilled in earlier campaigns. Operation Kutuzov tore through German lines. Artillery shells rained down like thunder, leveling trenches, crushing bunkers, and sowing panic. Soviet tanks rolled in waves, T-34s swarming across open fields, engines growling, tracks tearing through mud and debris. The Germans couldn't regroup. every step forward was met with steel and fury. The human cost was staggering. Thousands of soldiers lay dead, many more wounded, burned, or captured. Yet the Soviets pressed on. Every commander, every soldier knew what was at stake. Kursk was revenge, pride, and the future of the Eastern Front. The battlefield was a furnace, and only the strongest, smartest, and most determined would survive. By late July, Germany's armored divisions were shattered. Panther and Tiger tanks, once symbols of invincibility, were now wrecks scattered across the fields. The Luftwaffe had lost air superiority. Hitler's generals were demoralized, and even his propaganda couldn't hide the truth. The war on the Eastern Front had shifted irreversibly. Stalin's patience had paid off, and now he hunted. The Battle of Kursk left one thing clear: revenge and preparation beat arrogance and pride. The Soviets had turned Hitler's own weapons against him. Kursk wasn't just a fight. It was a lesson in strategy, intelligence, and the power of relentless determination. The Red Army would never stop, and Europe would never forget this clash of steel, blood, and fire. As the smoke settles over Kursk and the battlefield fades into history, one thing becomes clear. Wars aren't just fought with guns and machines. They're fought with willpower, sacrifice, and the choices of men who refuse to break. And if you're the kind of person who loves diving deep into the battles, the revenge arcs, the legends, and the raw truth behind the world's most powerful moments, you're in the right place. This channel isn't just about war stories. It's about what war does to people, how it shapes nations, and how a single decision can flip the entire world. Every week, we bring you cinematic breakdowns, insane historical twists, and the kind of storytelling schools never teach. If you enjoyed this ride through Kursk, the biggest tank battle ever, make sure you hit that like button so YouTube knows you want more. Subscribe so you never miss the next war epic. And drop a comment telling us which battle, which warrior, or which revenge story you want next, because your suggestions fuel this channel. This is Xtreme USA signing off. Stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, history hits harder when you look it straight in the eyes.